Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Authors Impact Hub podcast. I am your host, Juanita Woodson, and I am joined by a guest who's been on with us. So she is no stranger to the Authors Impact Hub. We have on with us Miss Ciara Lewis. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the new project that she is working on. You know, that we bring you those real authors, their real stories, and real impact. So we love to have authors on who can share with us what they're doing, what their journey has been like, and a little bit about their books. So, Ciara, I'm going to pass it over to you. If you can tell us a little bit about who you are, briefly give us your background and the title of the book we're discussing.
Hello, my name is Ciara. I'm the CEO and the founder of Fearsome Fearless Magazine, a magazine that is used to elevate women entrepreneurs in their entrepreneurial space, have a safe place to come and share their voice, their journey, any tips or tricks, and basically just to be seen and heard. We are also in the process of launching our co-anthology, Fierce Fearless Phoenix Rises from the Ashes. And we are still looking for a couple of authors to join the bandwagon. We are releasing the book December the 13th, so it is going to be a pretty quick turnaround. Rough drafts are due on the 31st of October. So do keep that in mind if you do choose to sign up before now or before then. The book is basically really just a very authentic, soul-reaching book. So what we're doing is we're wanting to go back and captivate where people truly started before they got to where they are. We want to see behind the beauty and the gold and all that glistens, and what brought people to the point where they are today, and what challenges they had to really go through to become or get where they are and who they are to this point today. I think a lot of times people see, the nice cars or the mansion or all the jewelry, and they think, oh, I'd like to have that, or I'd like to, but they don't really know what that person had to go through to get to where they are, or the process that it took. And so this is what this book is going to do. It's going to break that barrier down and just let people know, what really goes on behind the scenes of entrepreneurial people.
Absolutely. I love that. That is definitely my lane. So I'm excited to talk about that a little bit tonight. So let's talk about maybe your own personal experiences, right? Being the founder of Fierce and Fearless. So how did your own personal experiences shape the mission behind it?
So I'm a victim of domestic violence and sexual abuse. I've also come from a background of where I've been manipulated by men in the in the workspace. Um, and so, that was really what drove the mission for Fierce and Fearless. But even behind that, it's kind of also driven this drive for the anthology. And so I just think that sometimes we hold on to stuff that we don't share, either because we don't know how to share it, or maybe we're not ready to share it, or
Mhm.
we don't really have the right audience to share it, the right angle. And so I feel like this book is going to allow women to finally have the opportunity, if they are ready to share their story. But not only that, they're going to see that other people are ready to share their story, and hopefully will kind of get them the opportunity or the gumption to say, okay, I'm ready, and this is my story. I want to tell it now. So that's really the drive behind this co-anthology, and that's my experience with why I chose this book.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's all about, right, pulling somebody else up. You never know what someone else is experiencing. So you sharing your own journey and your testimony, giving them that courage, like, okay, she's sharing it. Look at her now. She went from this to now this. I know that I can come out of whatever I'm in as well. So when we think about rising from adversity, right? Can you share maybe a pivotal moment in your own life where you turned your pain into purpose?
Yes. So like I said, I was a victim of domestic violence and sexual abuse, and that really changed who I was. And it took me for a long time to even truly realize that. Till one day I looked in the mirror and I didn't even recognize who I was looking back at myself. Um, And so I knew from that point forward, well, I knew when I was going through the abuse that I wanted to make a change for other women. I didn't want this to be something that other women had to go through or, had to go through on their own. And so once I got past the abuse, once I kind of, went through the healing process, I've sat and I thought for a long time, what can I do to make a change and to help other women to not have to go through this or to have support if they have gone through it, and to get their voice back. And I'm a writer. That's kind of how I healed myself, from going through that. And so I came up with, the magazine. And then, like I said, from there, I came up with the book. And the book is really my I think for me it's going to be my biggest project out of everything. Yes, the magazine is huge. I love it, but I really think this book is going to be very super powerful, and I think it's going to do a lot for a lot of women.
Yeah, absolutely. So it takes a lot of leadership, right, to pull these type of things together, anthology projects. You think about you're working with a lot of different personalities. You have a whole magazine, so I'm sure you already know, right, the work that goes behind pulling people together, getting people to get their things in on time, right? But then just also the ups and downs of entrepreneurship as well. So I know you have a background in medical billing, right?
Yes.
So how did your background, your leadership background, kind of help you navigate now this new space that you're in?
Um, I think just being able to work with people in general, having a different variety of areas that you've worked in, because I feel like to be a leader, you've had to kind of be in a vast majority of different categories or spaces, right? Dealt with different types of people, and so that really helped me because, when I was in that position, I was definitely face to face, not just with providers, not just with doctor, not just, with medical personnel, but with actual clients. And as you know, in the medical space, you're dealing with all kinds of walks of life. It's not just, one particular type of person coming through the door. And so that helped me to truly have a better understanding of people and how they think, how they react, and what they want. And to me, I think that's the most important thing of being a leader and an entrepreneur is if you have the ability to listen,
Yes.
you can most definitely give your clients exactly what they want. And so
Yeah.
that was the key for me.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, right? If you know how to listen, you can definitely change a lot of lives, including your own, right? So when we think
Yes.
about rising from the ashes, what does that truly mean to you today?
To me, I think it means, getting up from a great fall, rising from multiple tragedies, um, going through multiple fires. I feel like rising up, you're getting brass wings at this point. You're coming out golden. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, um, just being fierce, being ready to take on whatever is coming next because you have already been through so much that at this point, there's really not anything that's going to get you down. And to me, that's kind of what rising from the phoenix means, rising from the ashes and gaining your new wings, is you have already been through so much that, you have no choice at this point but to rise up and fly and again, conquer whatever it is that's coming your way.
Yeah. So if you can tell us a little background about the Phoenix, right? Because someone listening may not really be too familiar with what that means. So can you give us a little background about what that is?
Well, the phoenix in general is one of the strongest bird symbols there is. And, that again is what I like to, what is the word I want to say here? How I like to correlate the fierce and fearless, because it kind of represents the same thing to me. If a phoenix, there really is no fear with the phoenix. A phoenix is something that it keeps going no matter what. It always rises up. And so again, that's the reason I chose the title for the book, because again, it simplifies strength, boldness, courage, all of it. And so I thought, what better um, character image to use for the backdrop of the book.
Yes, I love that. I was like, let me ask that because somebody may be like, okay, well, what does that mean? What is a phoenix? So I thought it was important to share that. So your Fierce and Fearless brand has evolved into a full movement, right? So you have the magazine, the
Mhm.
podcast, you do events, and now you have an anthology. So what has the evolution of this community of your brand taught you about purpose and persistence?
It's definitely taught me that we have to remember that we're not just a guiding light for ourselves. Sometimes we are actually guiding for somebody else and we don't even know it. And to show up and do the best that we can each and every day, make sure that we're reaching out to other people and trying to help in the best way that we can, even if we can't do it all, even if we can't help them, go to the full extent, just give a lending hand when we can. Um, I think that's just been my biggest thing, stepping into this side of the business is doing just that. And that's the part I enjoy. And like I said, just listening and hearing the stories and finding where you can help.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. I love that because I know so for me, I am such a like I want to help. I want to be able to do everything. So when I'm not able to do something, like it bothers it bothers me to my core and I have to try to figure out how can I make this happen. But you said something important like even if you can't do that, how can you help? There may be a small way that you're able to help. So you're creating a culture of collaboration and not competition. And I think that is so important, right?
Mm.
Especially among women. So why do you feel like that's so important and how do you maintain that culture?
I think it's really important because I feel like that's what we were designed to do from the time we've existed, is work together.
Yeah.
And truthfully, tying in even the men, I think we were all designed to work together and never be divided, regardless of gender, race, color, all of it. And I feel like people just miss the bigger picture when they're trying to stay over here in this corner and
Yeah.
not deal with anybody over here out in this other corner. And I just feel like if we truly sat down and understood the power that we all carry, and if we put all that together, what we could truly create for the whole universe. And I think we would scare ourselves. I really do. I mean, I think it would be like magic. And I I know that we would probably never truly see that, in at least maybe our lifetime. But I definitely think we can still do what we can to try to get it there because maybe one day it will come back to that.
Yes, I love that. And I think it's so important, right, for us to be able to create these type of opportunities and then also come together so people can see what it looks like for people to work together, to collaborate. And I know doing the anthology projects, it's one of those ways that we can get people together to work together. And so in the book, so what type of women are you hoping to reach with the project?
Honestly, I would like to reach any woman that is ready to share their story, that's ready to break the chains, break the barriers, and just let people know, hey, this is who I was before, and this is who I am now, and this is how I got to where I am now, and because I've talked to several different women just from the magazine alone, outside of the co-anthology, and the stories that I hear is just like amazing, but there's some heartbreaking, there's some like, oh my gosh, like, and then you're just like, oh, we are super women. You
Yeah.
are super, you know what I'm saying? And so I just want again to offer the opportunity for someone to be able to express that and have it shared. And I, yeah, this book is going to do exactly just that. So there's really no particular women that we're looking for. Again, we don't really discriminate here. We don't really try to exclude. We want everybody to be a part of what we're doing. And so yeah, just any woman that's ready to share their story.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's story is different, right? So
Yes.
you never know who you may touch. And then that's why it's good to have different types of stories, right? Different type of women to come together because then you can reach even more people. So I think that's so important. So you often encourage women to trust their gut and embrace their scars. I know you mentioned your own personal journey, right, with domestic violence and sexual abuse. So how has your faith kind of guided you in that journey or out of that journey? And then how do you use your own testimony to guide other women?
Um, I will say that it let me know that I was stronger than the situation and that I would come out of it.
Yeah.
However, I will say that I was very lucky to not experience too much physical damage compared to most women, or not most, but some women that I have seen or, that we read about. Um, but through all that, it let me know that my journey, my story could save another woman,
Yeah.
could prevent another situation from happening. I also learned during that journey that it's important that we check on our people, right? Because I feel like we have kind of come away from that today. We don't really have as much humanity left as what we did, way back when, especially now that we have all this technology and social media. And so, I think that a lot of times we see the signs, but we ignore it.
Mhm.
We may notice that Sally has come in today and Sally doesn't seem the same, or she's got a mark on her face. And instead of even just asking, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" Even if we don't say what happened, or, um, we just walk past
Mhm.
until we realize Sally's no longer coming to work and we don't know why, or until we realize Sally's on the news and it's like, oh wow, um, and that is what I hope that one day we can really and truthfully crack down further on than where we have today, which I really am very impressed with the awareness and how far it has gone from where it was years ago. But I just think that we, the people, have to do better and do more.
Absolutely. And I think you're doing your part in that by creating these type of opportunities, creating that community, because when you have community, people feel more comfortable
Yeah.
with sharing those things that are happening behind closed doors that they may not feel so comfortable talking about. So this is like, I think that I am stressing the importance of community even more now these days for the reasons that you said. So, what would you say to the woman who feels like she's called to do more, but is still battling that thing called fear or self doubt?
You just have to ask yourself, are you ready? Are you willing to still stay here, or are you ready to see what's out there? And it's a hard question. It is. It's a hard move, and you just have to, weigh your pros and cons. What's going to happen if I don't make my move yet? What's going to happen if I make my move? What benefits? And you definitely have to realize that the fear is what's keeping you bound there. So until you're ready to fight the fear, until you're ready to attempt and put your foot forth and step outside the box, you're going to consistently live in that same fear, that same box every single day until you're ready to do it. And it doesn't, I'm not going to say it's easy once you step out of the box,
Mhm.
but it gets easier the more you step out of the box and away from the situation. Um, I also want to remind women that, this is why we have the crisis hotline, the abuse hotline, things like this, because we have people that will take you and put you in somewhere safe. We have people that will try to do the best they can to make sure that you're not found, or, that you're completely safe. So again, it's not an easy decision, but it is a decision that you have to be ready to make on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, thinking about while we're here, right? The conversation that we're having, your book. And then I said, wait, this is domestic violence awareness month, right? And
Mhm.
so I think the conversation is like right on time for you to be able to give those reminders. So you're an example of what it looks like to rise up from the ashes. So continue doing the amazing work that you are doing in the community with the book, with the magazine, and building that sense of community for women, for everyone, right? So how can we connect with you on social media? And then if you can let us know, when is the new book coming out?
The anthology will be released December the 13th. And you can connect with me on fearsomefearlessentrepreneur.com or Fearsome Fearless Entrepreneur, either on Instagram or Facebook. You can also email me at fearlessentrepreneur2025@gmail.com.
Awesome. As always, the conversation is always amazing. So, I end with that last question, and that is, so what impact do you want your work, your legacy that you're building, your magazine, all the amazing things to leave on the world?
I just want to see people come together, leave a positive, mark everywhere I go. And again, hopefully stop this negative competition and see more people doing collaboration, coming together and creating something beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. All the amazing things that Ciara is doing. Make sure you go and connect with her on social media. I can't wait for this episode to come out because you touched on so many amazing things when we talk about collaboration and really working together. That is so important. We can really go so much further together, right?
Yeah.
If our missions are the same, to help other people, to bring other people up from the ashes. So I definitely commend the work that you are doing. Thank you for being a great light in the world. So listeners, make sure that you go. If you're interested in joining the projects that you have, how much time left do they have to join?
The 25th is going to be our dead cutoff. It'll be really hard to get anything in past that because, like I said, the rough draft is due October 31st. So December or October 25th will be our dead cutoff for the anthology. Now, I can tell you this will be a continuation series. So if you don't get in on this round, there will definitely be an opportunity for the next one, because obviously this is going to be a story that's going to take a while for a lot of people to, truly get that story out. So we want to make sure that we give people the room and the space to do that. So yeah, if you don't catch this one, there'll definitely be room for the next one.
Absolutely. So if you are interested in being a part of the new anthology project, definitely make sure that you reach out to her ASAP. Make sure you connect with her on social media. And then also she has her magazine, y'all. So I want you to really go and support the magazine that she has out as well. And of course, when you listen to the episode, so don't just keep it to yourself, right? Share it with someone else who may need the gems that she dropped, who may need to hear her testimony, and then leave us some feedback. Leave us one takeaway that you got from listening to the episode. And of course, like always, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, thank you.